First of all, how long have you been here now?
5 nights, 6 nights, something like that.
6 nights. Beautiful. And how did you first hear about us? Like, what made you actually reach out to us in the first place?
So I'd known about ayahuasca for years, but like the time never felt right. And then I was in like a fairly like low episode after trying, like going through like the Alcoholics Anonymous stuff, like hypnotherapy, normal therapy, like personal development stuff, and like I improved, but I was still going into those ruts, and I was like, okay, well there's some stuff that's buried in my subconscious mind that I can't consciously access, it's just off limits. And then it felt the right time to do ayahuasca. So I watched loads of documentaries, loads of Googling, and then I found the Epicenter retreat, and it just seemed like the most authentic, most affordable retreat that was available. And so I reached out to you, Urban, and we had a conversation, and yeah, booked my plane tickets the same day, I think. A couple of weeks later, here we are.
Were you hesitant about anything, like before you actually arrived? Because you said it was the most affordable place, and you booked the tickets after speaking to me and so forth, but did you have any fears about actually booking with us?
So initially, no, because like it was a very like spontaneous thing. I was like, this feels right, I'm doing this. And then I booked it, and I was like, God, I'm going into the jungle by myself with a lot of money, most of my belongings, like. So I did like a reverse image search on all your images. I was like, they just stole these images of someone else, and like it was all legit. And like ultimately, I just thought, if someone's put this much effort into kidnapping me, so be it. They deserve it. Like, and then of course, like my family had some things to say. They're like, "You're going into the jungle by yourself? Like, what are you, an idiot? Do you want to die?" Like, so. Yeah, I was like, nah, it'd be fine. And it is. It's fine.
Beautiful. And and yeah, and this is your first time that you're experiencing both the plant medicine and you're experiencing the mother ayahuasca as well. So you haven't done any of that in the past, no?
No, yeah.
And you've been here for 5 nights now. And how many ceremonies have you had?
3 ceremonies with ayahuasca. And 5, well, not ceremonies, but like 5 times I've drank the other plant medicine, chili sananga.
Yeah, the one you're dieting right now.
Yeah, which is good.
Beautiful. And yeah, I would also like to clear that out. So the fears that you had about abduction and so forth, do you feel a little bit safer now after being here with us for 5 days?
Yeah, for sure. Like, unless I get abducted on the way back. But like, it's like,
yeah.
But yeah, I feel very safe here. As soon as I arrived, I was concerned about the language barrier. I was concerned that there would be no other English-speaking people here. Like, fortunately, there are other English-speaking guests here, and you joined us as well, Urban, which has been beautiful. And I was a bit apprehensive when we got here, because these are total strangers in the middle of the jungle, and I'm coming into their home to ask for them to help me. Like, if a complete stranger asked for me to help them, like, it just came into my house and were like, help me, like, it'll take me a while, but literally after the first night, after the first ceremony, I just felt this deep sense of trust. Like, I've never connected with a family so deeply, so quickly before. Yes.
And I'm curious, how do you feel walking into the first ceremony?
Absolutely terrified. So I've done other psychedelics before, and I've had experiences where I felt like I didn't have control. I felt like there was a level of consciousness that I stepped into that's beyond the identity of Callum. Like, it's not just Callum, it's not my thoughts, it's above that or below that. It's like it's where those thoughts, where Callum comes from. and just being in that state and not having those control mechanisms, those defense mechanisms, like, there to protect us, which like mine definitely override, which is like depression, anxiety, resistance, like struggling, trusting people. So I was scared of letting my defenses down and having to trust a plant medicine. And it's even though I'm 3 ceremonies in, the second ceremony I fully let go, and it took me on a journey, it took me on a wild ride, and after it I was scared because I had let go of control, like I had let my defenses down, but I felt so good afterwards. So going into my final 2 ceremonies, I'm actively letting my defenses down because I know they're only there to protect me, but I don't need them to protect me anymore. I need them to release, so those dark memories, those traumas that are buried in my subconscious mind, I can feel them through and let them go. Because if I don't surrender to that, they're going to be stuck with me forever. And yeah, that's mainly why I came here, to purge those energies that are like buried and blocked off from my consciousness.
Yeah. So you felt that after this first ceremony, you trusted the medicine even more. And then in the second ceremony, you got blown away.
Yeah, she tested me.
And how did it feel then afterwards when you entered the third ceremony?
The third ceremony, I was very scared again because I'd realised her true power, and I felt a lot of resistance. The third ceremony, I was just on the edge of taking off, where like I had some really amazing visions at the start where she was being gentle and she sent her little machines in to like fix me. Like I actually saw it, like it was mad. And then I felt her getting ready to like blast me off again, and I was just like, no. Like I actively resisted. I let her know I was terrified, and she listened, and she didn't blast me off that time. But I felt like I limited my healing then. I didn't put my trust into her, and I let those defense mechanisms there to protect me take over. And yeah, I'm hoping to let those go next ceremony.
Oh, God. Thank you for sharing that, brother, with us.
Yeah,
it means a lot for me to hear that. I feel very trusted with that. Thank you.
Pleasure,
Wow. This is juicy. And how do you feel about the family? Like overall, the community here that you're staying at. So how do you feel about coming into this home? And yeah, if we can call it a retreat, I'm not sure, but...
Yeah, it's almost... It's a retreat from the Western world, but it's not a retreat where you're getting away from everything, because you come into a new home, like you're welcomed into it. And I don't speak much Spanish, like tiny bit, but the communication is beyond words. I trust them with all my intentions. Like I'll leave like my phone, I'll leave my money, my passport. It's all just like flung around everywhere because I know nobody will take it. Like if I stayed at a friend's house, like I'd have all of it like in my pockets. I'd be like, so yeah, like that level of trust with people I've met for a couple of days. Yeah, it's hard to put into words, but yeah, very trustworthy, very loving, very accommodating. Even though we don't speak much of the language, I don't speak much. They're very accommodating of that, and they speak with like actions, and that they'll make sure we understand one way or another.
And was it any, I'm not sure, you have to help me with this one, prejudices? Now, how do you...
Prejudice.
Prejudice, yeah. Did you have any prejudice about the family or about myself or about the medicine or something like that, that you, when you arrived here, it can be good or bad, but if you have had any of those, do you notice that you arrived that, wow, okay, this changed?
Yeah, when I came here, there was... I wasn't very trusting, like my defenses were up, because like the reality is I'm in the jungle with strangers that I've never met before. Like, it's a risky thing to do, and there are people in this world that would like take advantage of that opportunity to to get gains themselves or to just cause harm, like but within a matter of hours, and definitely after the first ceremony, completely changed. Like, no fears in my mind whatsoever, like to the point where I knew they would never cause me any harm, and they were actually there to protect me, to guide me and to help me. The complete opposite of what I thought could happen. And yeah, it was just boom, like that. It happened so quickly.
Oh, I would share that with them for sure. Beautiful. And how has your journey been so far? Like, have you had any how do you say it, doubts during these days that you've been here? Because you've been for 5 days and you entered the Dieta very quickly. So how has this 5 days been for you?
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster for sure. I've had moments after the first ceremony where I thought, it's like I've got the answers to everything. I'm connected to this divine spirit which will guide me through anything. And to the second ceremony where I'm like, this is too much. This isn't for me. Like the psychedelic mantra of I've done it this time. Like, yeah, that rang true. And after the third ceremony, I was like, I'm tapping out. Like, I'm done. I can't do this. It was so hard. But then I remembered that that's why I came here, to get the assistance from the shamans, from the plants, to work through those emotions, things that I can't face by myself. I don't know how to do it. And yeah, I've wanted to stay here forever and leave everything behind. I've wanted to leave here and never come back. And it's part of the journey. Like, ayahuasca and the other plants, they test us, they push us to our limits, and then a bit more, as you taught me. And yeah, but in that suffering, in those highs, there are lessons, and just taking the time to journal and work through them. Like, after the second ceremony, my phone wouldn't work because I was spending way too much time. Like, I was just going around filming it, and it's a brand new phone. Like, I literally bought it like a couple of weeks before coming here, and it just shut off. It black screen of death, no low battery message, no error message, tried the hard reset, nothing. And I surrendered to it, I journaled through it, and I learnt the lessons to be more present, to think, like, why am I here? Why did I come here? And after the third ceremony, boom, it just works again. Like, it could be coincidence, sure, like, of course it could, there's no way of disproving it, but the timing was perfect. So yeah, she works in mysterious ways, for sure.
And would you say that this retreat is for anyone? Like, who would you actually say that this is for? Whenever you experience that, who would you recommend it to, if you were to recommend it?
Definitely not for everyone. Definitely not for everyone. You've got to be really willing to change. You've got to want change. And I personally feel like it shouldn't be the first thing you come to. Like, if you are feeling depressed, if you're going through an addiction, like, my advice would be to do things like traditional methods first, because if you're not willing to put in the effort to go to a therapist, to do some 12-step work, to do some personal development, you will not be willing to learn the lessons that Mother Ayahuasca is here to teach you. It will be way too tough, in my opinion. And I also know that she's not going to teach me everything. Like, she's going to give me insights, she's going to guide me, and she's going to shine lights on my problem areas. But then it's down to me to, like, to work through it, to integrate it, and to not fall back into my bad habits when I get home.
Yeah, it's beautiful, brother. It's beautiful. And I mean, and also, I hear you, it's beautiful. Thank you for this. And one thing I'm also curious about is that there's so many different sorts of retreats to choose from, right? Over here, you're like 4 hours more into the jungle from the city as well. Like you're really deep into it, right? So if you would compare it to, even though I haven't been to one of those maybe luxurious retreats, like how would you see that sort of comfort or some form of security, or how do you feel? Yeah, so who would you recommend to in those certain senses as well?
I think people who I really love nature, and I see a quality in myself of I like to seek comfort, I like to seek control, I like to seek safety, and that holds me back a lot in life. It stops me from taking risks, it stops me from building relationships. So by going to a retreat that still has some of those comforts, I only see it as holding myself back more. Just purely coming into the jungle and being willing to let go of all those comforts, it breaks through another barrier. And I feel like people could just come here and not do any plant ceremonies, no ayahuasca, and you'll just connect with nature so deeply. Like I came here on the first day after being in like Pucallpa and being in the jungle and being on the boat ride, and I was like, I don't need ayahuasca, I'm healed. Like, I feel amazing, like this is beautiful. But then to do the plant ceremonies on top of that, it goes a layer beyond. So you got to be willing to let go of your comforts, and it's not even suffering, like it's just being willing to let go of them and just surrender and just be like, I'm in the jungle, like I'm in the fucking jungle,
Is there anything you would have liked to know before you arrived here that we didn't share with you before, that you like think about now? Fucking hell, yeah, that's something that I would have wanted to have.
So preparation.
Here comes the whole list.
So a few things, right? Because there's a lot of information online about how to prepare for a retreat, but I think the ultimate thing is different traditions, different shamans work in different ways. So there are different rules for different retreats, because that's just how the shamans work with the medicine. So knowing things like what to eat before, what behaviors to do, like can I watch films, can I listen to music, can I be with friends, like what sacrifices do I have to make before I come here, that for sure would have been good to know. And just to know that it wasn't going to be all smooth sailing. Like I thought, like I knew the reality of it was going to be rough, but I didn't know how rough, and I didn't realise even after the ceremonies, after a night of sleep, I'd still wake up and be like, I want to quit. But it's part of the journey as well. The whole time you're here is the journey. It's not just in the ceremonies. If I had that knowledge before, or even during, like I'm grateful you were here to share that with me. Otherwise I'd be off, like I'd be on a boat back home right now. To surrender, in order to get the most out of ceremonies, you need to surrender, and to be aware that there will be resistance in the surrender, and they're just the mechanisms of safety your consciousness is built out to protect you. Like they're there from a place of love, like they're not out of there to harm you, but just acknowledging that I don't need them anymore, and I want to see what they're hiding from me to get rid of it. And also like the Dieta afterwards, like the Dieta extends past the time we're at the retreat, and unless you want to be running to the toilet a lot afterwards, like you need to eat bland foods. And also integration as well, like I personally use food to escape my thoughts, to bring me comfort. And after I've left here, after I leave the jungle and go back home, the plants will still be in me, and they'll be guiding me in the real world. And if I numb that guidance through food, through like alcohol, through like television, through Netflix, I'll miss a huge part of this process, which is the integration. Fortunately, you were here, Urban, to like guide me through all of those things. So I've got those lessons now, and I think if anyone who's coming here just hears that, like that would be good. A good start.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Is there anything else now that you'll be thinking about that you would like to share to people who might be thinking about coming here, or in between reaching out or lifting the phone, booking a discovery call?
Don't underestimate the power of these plants, like I did. I came here thinking, oh, I've done mushrooms before, I've done LSD, like I've done loads of drugs, like I've got this. It's not comparable to any other substance. It's just not. It's a different level. If you're just coming here to chase a high, to have a trip, you're gonna have an awful time. She's gonna test you. She's gonna see that, and she's gonna see the disrespect, and she's gonna show you her power. And like she showed me, like she put me right in my place. And yeah, if you're just coming here for a good time, don't come, because you won't have a good time. You have a horrible time. Like, but if you come here with respect and willingness to heal, then she will show you love. She'll show you kindness. She'll show you compassion. She'll show you hardships. She'll show you the demons that you've buried within you to protect yourself from having to witness them. And she'll show you all of that in a beautiful, loving way, and allow you to process it. So yeah, come here to connect with what's within. Don't come here to try and escape your world.
Wow. Fucking hell. Thank you, brother. Oh my
Thanks,
God. Oh yeah. Means a lot to us. Thank you. Yeah.